God!
So that was Piers Morgan's reaction after he played a terrible blunder halfway through this game against Andrew Tate. And his reaction at the end of the game was even more priceless. Now, this game was played on the Piers Morgan show earlier this week in December 22. Now, if you don't know who Andrew Tate and Piers Morgan are, they're both very famous, very controversial as well in their own ways. So have a Google about those. I won't go detail on who they are, but they played this game on the chat show. Now, Piers was giving it the big un before the game started, saying he was a school champion, come on, bring it on. And Andrew Tate just proceeded to calmly dismantle, as we'll see here, because he actually has a secret, a chess secret, which I'll share a bit more about at the end of this video. So let's see the moves. We see d4 on the board from Andrew, and now Piers goes d5 and now c4. So giving black a pawn if they want to take it. This is known as the Queen's Gambit. You're gambiting a pawn or giving a pawn, but instead of taking it, we see the pawn just defended by Piers. Now the knight develops, and now a strange move from black. You most often see this one developing, supporting a bit more, but this knight comes instead. Not the best, because you block this c pawn, and bishop f4 already starts to put pressure on this pawn. Now Piers develops his bishop. We see this pawn coming out, allowing this bishop to develop. And now Piers takes here. Probably better would have just been developing a knight. But okay, he takes with check on the king. The pawn recaptures. And now this is a big no-no in chess when you start playing, bringing the queen out this early, which is what Piers does, because it can be attacked by these minor pieces here. So it's in the danger zone already, not where you want it. And it's bad because you leave this pawn. So Andrew snaffles off that pawn. Now the knight develops, and the bishop drops back, kicks that queen, and this is what I'm mentioning. You're losing time now moving that queen once again. Knight f3 hits the queen again, but does Piers move it? No, he castles the king. This is his terrible blunder. Andrew snaps it off, and this is where Piers freaks out.
Oh God!
But he keeps on fighting here. There's more drama to come. So the queen now develops, and we see this knight kicked away. It drops back here, and now Piers goes on this strange knight excursion, jumps in the knight, but after it gets kicked by the pawn, it just goes back. He's losing more time. Meantime, Andrew starts improving his pieces. Now Piers chops off that bishop, the knight recaptures. Now he takes this pawn. Again, the white pieces are flooding out with tempo, and now b6 is a good move, preparing to develop this bishop. But then after white castles the king, now instead of developing the bishop, which was the best move, Piers pushes another pawn, but he's creating weaknesses around the king, and Andrew immediately pounces. Can you see the best move for white here to break through to the king? So the move played was knight takes on g6 here. Now the knight wasn't captured, not on this move, it was on the next, so I'll show you that in a moment. Instead, Piers brings the bishop, Andrew centralises a rook, and now he takes the plunge, chops off that knight, but this is the problem. You're taking with check against the king, and once it moves, you can now take this knight with check. Now we didn't actually see the knight captured. Instead, the pawn was taken with check. This isn't actually the best way to play because the king could come here, protect the knight, and there isn't actually any more checks for this queen at the moment. But instead of coming to f7 after the check, it came to e7. Now Andrew can check from here, kick the king away, and he does still win the knight. So not the best play from Piers. The king's in check. The rook blocks. Now another pawn gets taken off the board. I mean, Piers has hardly even got any pieces left at this stage. He brings a rook over here. Again, a blunder. It just gets taken there. Andrew's just completely dismantling him. And now a further blunder from Piers. He should take with the bishop so that the king stays protecting the rook. But he goes with the king. He drops another piece here. He's got literally 3 pieces left in the king. And now the bishop comes here, and we see the pawn push forward, attack that bishop. So it comes into here. Now we get a check. King moves, come back with check. King goes again. And now the pawns start pushing. Andrew wants to checkmate. So the king drops back. The pawn pushes on. And now this is where Andrew gives Piers a warning that it's mate in 2. But Piers takes here anyway, and there's not really anything he can do. But now check comes, king goes, and this was the finish. Mate on the board. this was Piers Morgan's reaction.
Good game, sir.
Well played.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Now, what's Andrew Tate's secret when it comes to chess? Well, this guy was his dad, the late Andrew Tate, a fantastic chess player, international master, and that's the reason that Andrew is so good at chess. He learnt so much when he was growing up and retains that to this day. If you enjoyed this video and want a bit more chess controversy, then check out the video on screen which covers off the chess cheating scandal which rocked the chess world earlier this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.